Chuck's Guitar Geekery. Today I'm doing a video that's a little out of the ordinary for me, in that I have a subject that's been bouncing around this empty noggin of mine, and I figured I would just rant for a while and maybe play guitar a little bit, but essentially I've been kind of focusing on trying to have a guitar rig that's as future-proof as possible. What do I mean by future-proof? I think it's no secret at this point that supply chains and the way everything's been set up for modern life is fragile. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow with the supply chain? And before I go any further, I'm just going to say this is my channel. This is a politics-free zone. I'm not getting into politics. This is my happy place away from all that. You have the whole rest of the internet if you want to go argue that. So if you start getting political in the comments, I don't care what side or what direction you're coming at it from. If it gets political, I'm deleting the comment. So moving forward, you want to try to at least have a core of a rig that you know is going to work. 20 years from now, it's going to work. And frankly, that's why I hold on to all this old solid state PV. I've had so many tube amps come and go through the years, and I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was actually a shortage of tubes, and people thought tube manufacturers were going under, and it was starting to get legitimately uncertain whether or not, vacuum tubes were going to be a thing moving forward, or if, people were going to have to quest for some new old stock ones. But that's one end of the spectrum where, yes, that is the old technology, but it takes regular upkeep, and you constantly have to replace parts. And when you have to replace parts, you need a supply chain. And what's going to happen tomorrow with that supply chain? We don't know. The other end of the spectrum falls into the concept of planned obsolescence. And planned obsolescence, that's how I look at all the cool gizmos and gadgets and the multi-effects that are out there now. I mean, yeah, I have an old Pod 2.0. You turn it on, it still works, but it's a kind of unique power supply. Whether, when that power supply goes, whether or not you'll get another one, who knows? But an old solid state amp, 99% of the time, you turn it on, it's going to work. At worst, you might need to get some deoxit and clean out the pots and the jacks. But it's going to work. It might have a bit of a dated sound, but there's ways to work around that. When I think of the concept of a rig being future-proof, it's pretty much does not require a lot of inputs for maintenance, and it's not reliant on software that, who knows in 10 years whether or not that software will be supported. And yes, I have a ton of fun. I use multi-effects. You pretty much hear an IR loader on almost everything I do. Today I just have a Sennheiser E609 thrown on the front of this amp, and that's it. But planned obsolescence stuff, they're tools. They're a lot of fun. It's here now. Use it. Have fun with it. I'm not telling you don't use modelers. I'm not old man yelling at clouds. I have modelers. I have tube amps. I have solid state amps. What I see still working in 20 years, if I'm still alive, is the solid state amps. And it's not just PV. There's so many out there. Old Marshalls, I think, sounded good. Old Yamahas sounded good. I remember playing some solid state Fender stuff from the 90s that actually wasn't bad. The main thing is put a good speaker in it. So, I don't know if it'll be in frame, but I have a Bandit 65 here. That's an older PV, but I put a good Eminence speaker in it, and it sounds killer. I'm pretty sure this amp's older than I am, and it will blow your eardrums out still. This amp is probably 30 years old at this point. It'll blow your eardrums out. I have a teal stripe down there. I have these little ones here. I think, I'm kind of hoarding old school PV at this point, but get yourself at least one loud solid state amp, and I think you will be good to go for the future. Will it always sound the best? No, but if shit happens, you'll have something that will work. But I did not write a script for this. That's enough yammering for that. I'm just going to play through the amp for a little bit. Why not? Like, subscribe if you want. This isn't the type of video I usually do, but this is pretty much the sound I had at the opening there, but I just turned the reverb down a bit. this really doesn't go to the point of this video, but if you have one of these old PVs here, what I found, because they have, you know, what they call the thrash button here, but it pretty much changes the mid, kind of scoops the mids a bit, but you start with that, but you kick the mids up. I think it pushes a lot of pleasing frequencies. You know how loud you have to push an old PV for the clean channel to crank? Sorry, that keeps clipping my input. Anyways, so to recap, if you take anything from this video, find yourself an old solid state but loud amp, and you'll be set to be loud into the future, because who knows what the future brings. Have fun with the gizmos and gadgets that are out there today. God knows I sure do. Just having a complete multi-effects that's battery powered, you can take anywhere with you. Hell, just running apps through your smartphone. It's fun, but I feel like stuff is going to go more and more towards like a monthly subscription type of thing for a lot of that stuff. And speaking of which, I have a Patreon that I would like to get some monthly subscribers to. So, yes, this shit will last forever. But capturing is still a lot of fun. So, Patreon, $3 a month, once a week, you get at least one free capture. But you own the capture. It's yours in perpetuity or until Tonex stops supporting and goes under. Hopefully they don't, but you get at least one capture a week at Tonex and AM2 data. I'm going to get to NAM. I'm going to figure out NAM. For $2 a month, you get at least one backing jam track a week. So the backing jam tracks here at the beginning of all my videos, you get that. It's a .wav file. You own it. It's yours forever. And quite frankly, I have a hell of a back catalog built up of both captures and backing jam tracks. So you can go rejoin now and you have a ton of fun waiting for you. But future-proof your guitar rig and hell, your life as much as you can. Because they're not making cars to last anymore. They're not making appliances to last anymore. Hell, I think we're on our third refrigerator in the past 8 years. That's ridiculous. We're on our second microwave. We're about to be on a new washer and dryer. The fan, the stovetop hood range fan, that went out on us. So nothing's made to last anymore. Hell, I cross my fingers every time I start my car at this point because I'm out of warranty now and it burns through oil like crazy. So nothing's made to last anymore, but find something old that has lasted and it will probably last in the future. And tubes are fun. Have fun with tubes still. They're still there. Tube it up, but long term, have yourself at least one ace in the pocket. Ace in the pocket or ace up your sleeve. What's the phrase for something in your pocket? Have something in your back pocket, maybe. I don't know, but something old, solid state, and loud. And put a speaker you like in it, and you'll be fuss-free forever. Hell, maybe we're going to get our pedals in here. Find a sound you like with a Boss DS1 in one of these, and you will have a rig forever. Or a Proco Rat in one of these. You'll have a rig forever as long as there's electricity. So, I've been Chuck, and it took me way too long to do this video, and my alarm is going to wake up to go to work in about 3 hours, so I'm going to hate myself tomorrow for this, but let me know what you think. If you're trying to future-proof your rig, let me know what you're doing. Are you stockpiling tubes? Or are you just all in on the digital stuff and whatever progresses with that is what happens? Let me know what you're doing. Anyways, good night. See y'all later.